Kelleher. Ireland hunting a third try here. Aki. Good hands from Keenan. Ringrose flicks it onto Mac Hansen. Mac Hansen with some footwork. Cuts inside. Mac Hansen! Oh, that's brilliant! What a finish!
Welcome to the first of my 2024 Six Nations previews. We'll be taking a look at what every team has to offer from a tactical perspective and what we could expect from the tournament. We'll start off with Ireland, who, along with France, are considered to be the favourites to take it this year, and it's easy to see why. They have been on fire in the last few years under Andy Farrell and have become an attacking force that is mesmerising to watch. They will also have a lot of continuity from the World Cup despite Johnny Sexton's absence. Ireland's game plan is built around overwhelming their opponents through speed, accuracy and deception. It requires a high level of technical skill to pull off and an amazing level of fitness. It's not uncommon to see their face count going up to the 20s or even the 30s. So, let's start with the main attraction that this team offers, their breathtaking attack. Ireland use a 1-3-2-2 system on attack that focuses on lightning fast distribution between their pods and backline players. What's interesting is that it seems that they don't care that much about using the width of the field as they are building their attack. Ireland go through defenses, not necessarily around them. There is a very direct nature to their attack that weighs down their opponents over time. Have you seen these incredible looping attacks that Ireland seem to do with ease and that no one else seems to be able to replicate? These are called stack attacks and blocker patterns, and they form the basis of what makes the Irish so deadly. Stack attacks are when support players position themselves behind the ball carrier, with the intention of creating uncertainty in their opponent's decision making. For example, in a 3-man stack attack, defenders have to decide on which of the 3 attackers to cover, and this can easily lead to mistakes. Blocker patterns are similar to stack attacks in that they use deception to confuse defenses. Essentially, the passer will have 2 options of players outside him. He can either give it to the player that runs an inside angle or to the player that runs an outside angle. This will force the defense to make a choice between who of the 2 players to tackle. Note that it's very important for the ball carrier to fix his defender. This allows Ireland to create and exploit many gaps in their opponent's defensive line, as it puts a lot of pressure on an individual defender instead of the entire defensive structure. Another interesting aspect to Ireland's attack is their commitment to this attack in all areas of the pitch. Most teams will divide the field into various different zones, where they will use different attacking structures when they enter them. Most commonly, teams will use the pick and go and tight running angles to suck in defenders when they are near their opponent's try line. Ireland, on the other hand, will more likely choose width in this area and continue to run these patterns even if they are higher risk. This just shows you the faith that they have in this system and how effective it actually is. The last area that they focus on is their counter-attack. Ireland want to constantly put their opponents under pressure in open play, so they are more than happy to run the ball from deep instead of taking the line out on exits, for example. Mac Hansen and James Lowe are both exceptional counter-attacking threats and adds yet another layer to their attack. The second big part to their game plan is their defensive philosophy. Ireland's defense is always threatening to take the ball. Similar to their attack, the system is built around overwhelming their opponents with intensity and hard work. They prefer to compete heavily on the ground to get a penalty or to slow down their opponent's ball. Ireland don't have many huge players, so the key to this approach is to sustain a high level of intensity for extended periods. This philosophy relies on a lot of low tackling to get the ball carrier to the ground as fast as possible, so that their jacklers can compete. It's this exact system that managed to get them the ascendancy over many periods in the South African game. From a kicking perspective, Ireland has 2 different approaches. Because their overall approach is to systematically chip away at their opponent's fitness and structure, it is advantageous to them to keep the ball in play for as long as possible. As such, they don't like kicking the ball deep into their opponent's 22, because that would give them the opportunity to slow the game down with a line out. Because Ireland's attack is so deadly, it means that their opposition defensive structure has to adjust by committing more numbers in the defensive line. This in turn puts strain on their backfield defense, creating perfect kicking opportunities for Ireland to get a 50-22 or to put their opponents under huge pressure with a line-out. If we look at this from an overview perspective, then we can see that Ireland like fast and high-intensity matches with very few breaks. They focus on open play instead of set plays, and they like to keep running the ball in play times up as much as possible. I think the Six Nations will be no different. They will only have a few areas of concern that they need to look at addressing, like building depth at 10 again. But other than that, Ireland might take the whole tournament again this year. They just don't have many weaknesses, while they have exceptional strengths in many areas, and it will be really interesting to see how teams try to stop this team over the next few months. If you like this video and would like to see my tactical analyses of the Six Nations, then please consider liking and subscribing. See you next time.